Welcome students. So we are going to solve another problem where we are going to calculate portfolio return and risk where three stocks are given, the combination of three stocks. So Anand is considering the purchase of three securities, that is A, B, C, for the next year. And the returns of the security depend on next year's state of the stock market. That might be recession, average, or it might be boom. So estimated rates of the return are shown in the table. So there are three state of market. One is recession. So probability of occurrence is 0.25. Average of the economy 0.50 and boom is 0.25. And we have ABC securities and their return for the particular state of the market. Now the first question is find each stock's expected return of return, standard deviation and coefficient of variation. So let's solve the questions one by one. So first we will solve question A. So question A is question A. Let's solve it. So we are going to calculate first expected return for that. So solution. So for A. So in that we are going to calculate first, that is expected return. So make sure that you take down the problem first, then watch the video and then solve step by step. So expected return. So the formula for expected return is, that is n summation I is equal to 1 P1 R1. So P represents probability and R represents the rate of return. So let's calculate it for security A. So for security A, so that is, so we know the probability, that is 0.25, and the return for that particular state is 10 plus 0.50 is the probability in the average period, and the expected return is 14 plus 0.25 is the probability of occurrence in the boom period, and that is multiplied with the 16. So after calculating this and multiplying, we'll get the value that we will get, that is 13.5. So this is the expected return for security A. And do the same thing for B and C. So I'm not going to solve with the detail. I'm just directly going to put the direct answer here. So you please solve it, then put the answer. So for security B, the return will come in 13.25. And for security C, it will be 12.00. You don't calculate directly. Please put in the following formula and calculate. I'm just, to make the video short, I'm just adding the direct values. Okay, now we have calculated the expected return. Now again he is asking for the variance. So variance, we know the formula, that is, we call it as, even we can, it is denoted like this also. The standard deviation square is equal to n summation I is equal to 1 P1, that is probability, R return minus R bar, that is expected return that we have calculated, and square. So first we will calculate it for security A. Okay, let me put the values. So P is the probability that we know, that is 0.25. Return for that particular is 10 and R bar is 13.5 bracket square plus 0.50, that is the probability, into, sorry, not in, I'll just put the bracket here. Zero point 0.50. That is 0.50. So here 14 minus 13.5 bracket square plus 0.25 bracket 16 minus 13.5 bracket square. So 0.25, 10 minus 13.5 is 3.5. Okay, so we get value here is minus 10 minus 13.5 will be minus 3.5, and minus 3.5 square, if you square root it again we'll get the value in plus. So after solving this particular, so we get the value that is 3.0625 plus, after solving this we'll get 0.125 and plus this we get 1.5625. 1.5625. So after adding that all, so we'll get the value that is 4.75. So this is, now if you want to calculate the standard deviation for this, so you just push is equal to, so root 4.75. So root 4.75 will be 2.18. So this is the standard deviation and this is the variance for security A. Now if we continue with the same, so I'm going to, again you solve it, I'm going to write the direct answers here. For security B, the variance is, after calculating and putting it, we get 10.19. That is the variance. And if we go for standard deviation, that is SD, so we get root 10.19. So we get value 3.19. And for security C, we get the variance 2 and standard deviation is, if we put a after rooting 2, so we get 2 is equal to, so 1.41. So this is the variance. Variance for B is variance, and this is standard deviation, and variance for C is 2 and standard deviation for security C is 1.41. Now going to the now we have solved A and also we have solved B. Now if we compare which security is best to invest, looking at the return, the highest return is for security A. Security is giving highest return. When we compare it with the covariance, security is 2.18 variance and security B is 10.19 and security C is 2. So by comparing, looking at the variance, so security C is preferred, but by looking at the return concept, so security A is better compared to both the all three securities. So now let's solve the question C. We have solved A and B both in one problem itself. If C is, if Anand invests 1/3 of each security, what would be his portfolio return? So they are telling that, so he is investing 1/3 in each stock. So what will be the portfolio return? So if we solve here, so C portfolio return. So portfolio return, that we know the formula RP, return of portfolio, is N summation I is equal to 1 XI, that is nothing but portion, how much we are investing, and return. So portfolio return is equal to, let's put the value, so 1/3 into 13.5, that is for security A, plus 1/3 in investing at security B, so that is again 13.25, plus 1/3 in security C, so return for security C is 12. So solving this, we get 4.5, plus solving this, so we get 4.42, we get 4.42, plus, and by this we get 4. So adding this all, so 4.5, 4.2 plus 4, so we get the value, that is 12.92 is the portfolio return. Now going to the question D, that is what are the covariance between security A and B, B and C, and A and C. So if you look at securities which we are calculating, so going to the question number D, so calculating the covariance T. So let's calculate D. So covariance is equal to N summation I is equal to 1 probability into return of security 1, that is A, and the R bar of A into return of B, because we are whatever we are going to calculate, the second security come here and probability remains same, so R2 bar. Okay, now let's calculate it for covariance for A and B. So we'll put the values here. So let's start it. 10 minus 13.5 is the R1, that is R1 minus R bar 1, that is security A. Now we'll take security B, that is 9 minus 13.25, and the probability of occurrence is 0.25, plus next again security A, 14 minus 13.5, security B, 13 minus 13.25 into 0.5. So I will continue this here. Next, 16 minus 13.5 and 18 minus 13.25, and the probability is 0.25. So solving this, we'll get the values. So here we get, that is minus 3.5 into minus 4.25 into 0.25. So plus next is 0.5 into minus 0.25 into probability, that is 0.5, plus 2.5 and bracket 4.75 into, I will just continue this here, into 0.25. So bracket complete. So after solving this, so we get the value 6.63. So that is the covariance between A and B. And for covariance between A, C, so you please calculate it. You please calculate it. I'm just going to write the direct answer. We'll get -3 for covariance A and C. And for covariance A, B, C. So covariance for BC will get -4.5. So we calculated the covariance for AB, AC, and BC. So we in this problem he has not given calculate the portfolio risk, but we will study it. So taking the same problem and investing equal amount in all the securities. So what will be the portfolio risk? It is nothing but standard deviation. So this is the formula to calculate the portfolio risk. Okay. So this is for security 1. This is for security 2. And this is for security 3. And this is for security 1, 2. And this is for security 2, 3. And this is for security 1, 3. So that is nothing but this is A, security B, security C. And this security A and B. And this is for security B and C, and this is for security A and C. To calculate this, we have all the values. We know the portion, we know the standard deviation, but we have to calculate correlation coefficient. So let's calculate the correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient. We know the formula, that is R12 is equal to covariance 1, 2 divided by standard deviation 1 into standard deviation 2. Okay, so let's calculate it for AB, R, A, B. So covariance of 1, 2 we have already calculated. Okay, so covariance for AB is 6.63 that we have calculated, and the standard deviation we have already calculated, that is 2.18 for security A into 3.19 for security B. So we get the value, that is 0.95. Now calculating it for A, C. So the AC is covariance, that is -3 divided by the standard deviation for A is 2.18 into the standard deviation for C is 1.41. So after solving this, we get the value, that is -0.97. Now R, we going to BC. So BC's covariance is -4.5. We have calculated. So B's standard deviation is 3.19 into 1.41 of C. So we get the value, that is -1. So these are the correlation coefficient of RAB, okay, and AC and BC. So let's move to the problem. Now we'll put the values in the formula. So we have all the values. So is equal to, that is, he's telling equally investing, that will become 0.33 bucket square into 2.18 square plus 0.33 square into 3.19 square plus 0.33 square into 1.41 square, that is standard deviation of C, plus 2 into, so weight we know equally we are investing, so 0.33, 0.33, okay, into, we have calculated the correlation coefficient, that is 0.95 between A and B, and the standard deviation, that is 2.18. I will continue this 2.18 into 3.19 of B's security standard deviation, plus, okay, now just this part is for A, B. Now we are going to calculate it for the B, C. So depends on us, whatever. So next is BC. So we'll take that. So 2 into 0.33, 0.33, and the correlation coefficient between B, C, that is -1. Okay, that we have calculated, -1. Okay, into standard deviation of security B is 3.19, and for C is 1.41. So plus, now for AC, 2 into 0.33, 0.33, and the correlation coefficient between 1 and 3, that is nothing but AC, is minus 0.97. Okay, we'll continue here into the standard deviation for security A is 2.18, and for security B is 1.41. So this is how we have to put. Okay, and just pay attention, don't write it in your notebook, just for reference I am telling. This is for security A, and this is for security B, and this is of security C. Okay, and the first part is for security A and B, and this part is for security B, C, and the last part is of A, C. So after calculating this all, so we get the values for first one. So we get the like 0.52 plus 1.11 plus 0.22 plus 1.44. Okay, then we'll get plus minus 0.98 and plus minus 0.65. So we get the values, the positive 3.29 and negative is 1.63. So we get the value, that is 1.66. Okay, so this is portfolio variance. Now for the portfolio risk, that is nothing but standard deviation, SD, root of 1.66. So that is 1.29. So the portfolio risk is 1.29 that we have calculated. So please practice it and pause the video, repeat the video to understand the problem.